I'm at Thunder Valley Casino in Lincoln, California for Flight 1B of the Poker Atlas Tour $100,000 guaranteed Jack Stack tournament. And today, I'm going to test out a strategy I haven't tried in a while. Not going to play my cards. I'm going to play my feel instead. If I'm under the gun, I'm either going to limp or fold, and if I get raised by the button or blinds, I'm going to put in a very large 3-bet. If nobody opens, I'm going to play aggressive pre-flop. If nobody calls, I'm going to take it down. If someone raises, I'm going to fold. If someone calls pre-flop in later position, I'm going to overbet the flop, irregardless of the board, and hopefully take it down. If I get called or raised, I'm going to then act according to the cards I'm holding. Pocket jacks might be a fold, it might be a call, it might be an all-in pre-flop. Stick and stay and see how it goes.
Let's start off with the irony that the guy with a train as a card protector was delayed from entering the tournament for about an hour by an actual train a couple hundred yards from Thunder Valley. The tournament started at noon and waited for no man. The levels are a half hour long and I sat down with just over 4 minutes left in level 2 with a $30,000 tournament chip stack and a curiosity to see how my strategy works out. Let's see what I thought 64 minutes later on break.
First hand, I was out of the gun. I limped with 8-9. I got called by the cutoff, the button, the small blind. The big blind raised the 2-4 blinds to 2,500. I raised to 8,500. I took it down. Playing by feel. A little bit later, I got pocket jacks, and somebody opened when it was 3,600. They opened to 1,400. I re-raised to 5,000, went around to him and he raised me to 16,000. I let it go. Later with blinds 3-6, I picked up ace-10. I raised to 1,600 under the gun. I got 3 callers. We played 4 ways. The flop was queen high. I think it was queen 6-3, something like that. And it checked around and the turn came a king. So I had a gut shot, fired 10,000. I took that down. So I'm at the break. I'm about 44,000, I believe. And holding strong, coming back to 4-8. Wish me luck.
Time for Inside Mr. Creepy. Mind. Okay, so I admit it. You may need some further explanation on the 10K turn bet with just a gut shot. For some of you, it may seem absolutely crazy, but here we go on how it makes perfect sense to me. This table does not represent current stack sizes. Let's assume we all have between 30 and 40K and the blinds are 300, 600. Chandler is one of my subscribers and he was nice enough to come over and shake my hand and introduce himself to me at the tournament. And he's over there in seat 1, out of position, and they don't know what cards he's holding. Additionally, he doesn't know what any of them are holding after they called his 1,600 chip pre-flop bet. In my mind, when everyone checks the queen 6-3 flop, there is a possibility that either Chandler, acting first, or Jungle Man, acting second, may have hit a set and were unsuccessfully trying to check raise. Conversely, if Danny or Greg would have hit the flop, either with a pair or better, they would have betted. Since it checked around, I'm certain D-Negs and Greg have missed, and the only person Chandler needs to be afraid of on the turn is Jungleman. If anyone has the range for the king on the turn, it's Chandler. When he overbets 10K, Jungleman will either go over the top with his set or fold if he missed. D-Negs and Greg have absolutely telegraphed they missed the flop, and Chandler should not be worried about them. Essentially, he's not bluffing into 3 players, he's bluffing into 1. Side note, in recreating this hand, I also may have just figured out why in real life D-Neg often bets the flop, regardless of what he has. This is why I vlog. If I'm missing something, let me know in the comments below. And if I've taught you something, please like and subscribe. Otherwise, everything stays a secret between us. Back to the action.
We're done with Act 2, Round 2, levels 5 through 8 in the books. We're coming back to 1,000, 2,000 blinds in, about 10 minutes. I got a little lucky this round. I limped with Jack 10 offsuits when it was 400, 800, big blind raised like 3,500. So I bet half my stack. I bet 30,000. He thought about it for a while and called, and I flopped the nuts. Check Jack 10. He checked. I checked back. He checked the turn. I downsized a lot, bet 12,000, as you see. And he checked the river, which was a blank. And I went all in. Thought about it. He folded. A little bit later, we switched tables just before the break. Blinds were 800, 1600. I got pocket aces, and I was under the gun. I limped for 1600. It folded all the way around to the blinds. I got lucky on this one, and the blinds called. Flop was ace 4-5, so pretty good. Two clubs. I bet really small. I bet like 2100. Got raised to 5100. I slow played it. I called. The turn was a 9 of clubs, so there was a flush on board. I checked. The other guy bet 6,500. I called the 65. The river paired the board, a 4. The other guy bet 8,000. He's Ferrari jacket guy. I don't know what that means, but he's Ferrari jacket guy from another tournament. Went all in after tanking for a while. He called, said, I got a full house. I said, well, I got a better one. And he went, well, I'm so lucky. I can't believe this case is. And he took off. So I'm up to 155,000, which is pretty good for a starting stack of 40. The average looks to be 75,333. I'm not even the chip leader at our table. Somebody is just running over everything except me, apparently. But I'm probably top 5 or so for the entire tournament. There are 121 people left out of 227 in the registrations to the balance of 12. So I will see you on the other side. Act 3, round 3 is done, levels 9 through 12. When I last spoke, I was at 155. I got up to 255. Strange things happened. I ended up getting pocket aces and someone shoved into me and beat me. Eventually I got down to 106 and a half. And then the short stack shoved for 36.5. I think the blinds were 2-4 at the time. Got called by the giant stack, maybe the chip leader of the entire tournament. I had pocket 9s in the small blind and I shoved. The short stack had pocket 6s. The giant stack had pocket kings, and I had pocket 9s. I got up to leave and spiked a 9. He wasn't happy, but I wasn't happy when my aces got cracked. I got up to 255. I haven't had anything to play in the last 2 levels, so I'm at 194, which is going to either get colored down to 190 or colored up to 195. 51 players left, coming back to 3-6, slightly above average stack of 180. 29 make the money, 23 make day 2. I figure I'm about 25th place, so I got some work to do. I'll let you know. I came back from break, didn't try to do anything special, just doing what I can to advance. You'll see I had pocket queens here. Somebody raised, I re-raised, they folded. There's the money bubble. I made it, and 37 minutes later, we went on break. This is Mark Katz. Shout out.
California Grand Casino.
Okay, we are on the bubble. There's
the bag bubble.
There's 29 make the money. We're already past that. There's 25 left. The average stack is 381.
381.
I'm hanging in there at 318. Mark,
I'm at 470.
470. Any big hands?
All right, so I was down to 45K, had 2 guys covered. One guy had maybe 40, another guy 32. Pick up kings, they're sharing aces, like ace 9, ace 6. Held up, got me over 100K. Been running pretty good since then. Won a few flips, that's what you got to do in these spots. But hey, 1 to the bag, and then we'll come back tomorrow and final table. Like, right?
I'm just hoping to make it tomorrow. When you get to my age, you need to rest for like 6 hours.
We need that full rest. We need to wrap this thing up quick. It's already 9 o'clock. We've been grinding since noon, but hey, where else would you rather be, right?
I'd rather be home sleeping. Sleeping at home with a bag.
Fair point.
All right, we're going into level 17. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, peace.
A couple minutes and a couple hands after break, the night ends. I'm not involved, but the guy to my direct left, Zach, is. He goes all in with queens on that board, gets called by 9s, board runs clean, and we're done.
It was your fault. So I made day 2, coming back tomorrow. 325, the average stack is 416. Remember Mark from a minute ago? He coming back at 4 70, I think. So kind of happy. 22 plus 16 from flight point A. 38 of us are going to go get some sleep tonight, come back refreshed tomorrow.
So we all went home that night, and 13 hours later began our trek back for day 2. And something about this picture doesn't seem fair about the distances traveled. Zach? I showed up on day 2 with about 15 minutes to spare, and let's just say that one of my weaknesses as a relatively new poker vlogger is ad-libbing in front of a camera. I rambled on and stumbled through what I wanted to say, but let's just say that I had these 3 goals. Number 1, play better than a dead man. With my stack size, I could have just stayed home and lasted for about 3 hours, which would let me ladder up significantly. So my first goal is to play better than that. And if you want to know a detailed explanation as to what I'm saying, there's a link in the description below to this video, where I make it pretty clear. Number 2, I don't want to go on tilt, which is related to what I did yesterday after I got my aces cracked and subsequently got very lucky. Conversely, the chip leader, whose kings I cracked, did go on tilt the day before and was out of the whole tournament about 20 minutes later. And finally, I want to take advantage of my previous tournaments and the comments you, the viewer, have given me. I ran pretty deep in a similar tournament 2 weeks ago, but didn't finish editing and uploading until the beginning of this tournament. So what I did to win there is very fresh in my mind. Also, 2-time World Series bracelet winner Matt Keikoan inadvertently gave me some direct coaching by submitting a few comments that I hopefully could apply to the current task at hand. That's super blogger Dan Ross crashing my vlog behind me. He posted the chip counts and the seed assignments for all of us online, and we're ready to go. That's a really bad picture of a really good hand. That's a table I'm not playing at, hence the bad picture. Those are Mark's chips. He flopped a set of 10s and went all in and got called by the top of Randy Gill, and now those are Mark's chips too.
Early, I chipped up from 325 to 335. I lost maybe the small blind. I won a big blind. I picked up ace jack in a big blind. Somebody raised to 75. I re-raised to 160, I believe. And he jammed on me. And the fun thing at this tournament, this is a new experience for me on the Poker Atlas Tour. They give you time chips. So they give you 5 of them that count for 30 seconds each. And I was probably the first one in the tournament to use them. To use one, and I used them all. And I had ace jack, and I could have shoved there, but I used it all, and I didn't want to take the risk, and I folded. And from there on, I just took as long as I could for the entire time, and other people started using time chips and stuff when they got short. So everyone's catching on pretty quick. I laddered up. The first ladder was, I believe, 27. So I laddered up to 27. I got moved to another table, and I picked up jacks under the gun, and I took my 29 seconds of time before my hand is dead, and I bet 125, which at the time I had, I believe, 295 chips, so it was, what, almost a third. So folded around to the big blind, and the big blind shoved, and didn't even bother to take my time on this. And I called pocket jacks. He had pocket queens, as you can see here. But the board ran out clean. Bad for me. The board ran out, what, 9 high? So I finished 26th. It was the first ladder. 24th would have been another 140 bucks. But, you know, I'll take my chances with jacks. And lose with jacks, apparently. I have a couple friends still in. Mark Katz from yesterday, he's on a run. He doubled up. Ricky T from Grayton last week. He's got a ton of chips, like 700,000. Mark has, I'm looking over there, he's got about the same. Average stack, as you can probably see behind me, is 680. So they're pretty healthy. I'm going to take off. I got a long drive home, 80 minutes. It's fairly early, 1:36. Remember how I said the field cuts in half or so every 2 hours? We're at an hour and a half, but everybody's been using the time chips, and we've gone from 38 to 23, so it's still in effect. Kind of curious. I might hang out for another 20 minutes and see if it drops to 19 as predicted, even if we're using the time chips. Maybe I'll see that. Maybe I'll hang out. I'll let you know. All right. It was great talking with you, great hanging out. All right. Peace.
At the break, there were 21 left, so yeah, even with the time chips with 30-minute levels, the field cuts in half about every 2 hours. Jeez Louise, you think you get bad beat? How'd you like to be Ricky T? Flops a set and then Armageddon happens. Mark would make the final table. According to the Dan Ross Poker blog, he got his queens crushed when there were 4 left. Here's the final results for this tournament. Maybe I shouldn't commit myself with pocket jacks, or maybe you suggested in the comments of my last video I'm just being too results oriented. Maybe those jacks just got cooler, nothing else. I'd come back the following day and play the $1,100 main event at Thunder, and I'm very happy with my results. Come back and check it out.